Before we begin, I need you to trust your intuition. If this reading appeared on your screen today, it may not be a coincidence. Spirit is revealing something that has remained hidden for far longer than you realize. And by the end of this reading, you may understand someone's actions in a completely different way. Take a deep breath and allow yourself to be present. The energy coming through is incredibly strong. Someone has been carrying a secret so close to their heart that they haven't shared it with anyone. Not their closest friends, not their family, not even the people they trust the most. They have kept it locked away in silence, believing it was safer to hide than to reveal. And the surprising part is, this secret is about you. The cards are asking you to stay until the end of this reading, because the final message may explain why this person has acted so differently than you expected and what they may finally be preparing to reveal. The very first message coming through is this: there is something they have never told you, because they fear it would change everything. Spirit shows me someone who has become incredibly skilled at hiding their emotions. On the outside, they appear calm, composed, and completely in control. But beneath that quiet exterior, an entire emotional world has been growing without anyone knowing. And the surprising part is, almost no one sees it. Not their family, not their closest friends, not even the people they trust the most. This has remained a private truth that belongs only to them. Every day they carry it. Every day they almost say something. And every day they convince themselves to stay silent just a little longer. This isn't because they want to deceive you. The cards say their silence comes from fear, not fear of loving you, fear of losing you. Spirit keeps showing me someone standing at the edge of a bridge. They know crossing it could bring them closer to everything they've been hoping for. But they also know one wrong step could make them lose the connection they already have. That uncertainty has kept them frozen. The message coming through is that what they show you is only a small fraction of what they truly feel. Perhaps you've noticed moments when they looked at you a little longer than expected. Moments when their smile seemed different. Moments when they suddenly became quiet around you for no obvious reason. Those moments weren't accidents. Those were tiny pieces of the truth trying to escape. Spirit says they have spent a long time carefully managing their emotions. Every conversation is measured. Every message is rewritten before sending. Every interaction becomes a balance between revealing enough to stay close to you while hiding enough to protect their heart. That takes far more emotional energy than you realize. The cards reveal something even deeper. This person has quietly imagined a future that includes you, not as a passing thought, not as an unrealistic fantasy, but as something that has slowly become part of their private hopes. Sometimes they picture simple moments, talking together over coffee, sharing ordinary evenings, laughing about things only the two of you would understand, growing older while life quietly unfolds together. These aren't dramatic dreams, they're peaceful ones. Spirit says that tells you everything. Because when someone imagines ordinary happiness with another person, their feelings have already reached a very deep place. There is another message coming through. This person has tested their own heart many times. They've tried distracting themselves. They've buried themselves in work. They've convinced themselves these feelings would eventually disappear. But every attempt led them back to the same realization. Nothing changed. Your name still crossed their mind. Your happiness still mattered. Your absence still left an empty space. Eventually, they stopped asking themselves whether these feelings were real. Instead, they started wondering how much longer they could keep pretending they weren't. Spirit says that realization became impossible to ignore. There is guilt surrounding this silence. Not because they've done something wrong, but because they know you've only seen the surface while they've been carrying the whole truth alone. Sometimes they replay conversations after they end, thinking, I should have said more. I almost told them. Maybe next time. But next time always becomes another quiet moment that passes by. The cards also show emotional restraint. This person doesn't easily become vulnerable. Perhaps life has taught them that opening their heart comes with risks. Perhaps they've experienced rejection before. Perhaps they fear misunderstanding more than loneliness itself. Whatever the reason, vulnerability feels unfamiliar to them. Yet your presence keeps asking them to become more honest than they've ever been. That creates an inner conflict. One part of them wants to protect themselves. The other part wants to stop hiding. Spirit keeps showing me a locked journal. Every page is filled with thoughts they've never spoken aloud. If you could read those pages, you would discover how often they've thought about you. How often they've wished they had been braver. How often they've imagined saying exactly what their heart has been carrying. The strongest energy appearing now is movement. Something has changed recently. The silence no longer feels comfortable. Keeping everything inside has become heavier than speaking the truth. That doesn't mean they'll suddenly appear with dramatic declarations. Spirit rarely works that way. Instead, courage grows quietly. One honest sentence, one meaningful conversation, one opportunity finally accepted instead of avoided. The cards suggest this person is moving toward that moment. Whether it happens tomorrow or sometime later depends on free will. But emotionally, they are closer than they've ever been. Spirit also has an important message for you. Do not underestimate the impact you've had on this person's life. Sometimes we assume people know exactly how much they matter to us. Sometimes we assume affection is obvious, but many hearts carry enormous feelings behind very ordinary expressions. This may be one of those connections. You may have interpreted their silence as uncertainty, their distance as disinterest, their caution as emotional absence. Spirit gently says that isn't the whole story. Sometimes people hide their deepest emotions because they believe those emotions are too important to risk. The final card appearing in today's reading is called the Opening Door. It represents truths that can no longer remain hidden forever. It speaks of honesty replacing fear, of emotional walls becoming too heavy to maintain, of someone finally deciding that protecting their heart is costing them more than expressing it. Spirit leaves you with one final message. There is someone who has been carrying your name inside their heart far more deeply than they have ever allowed you to see. Their silence has never measured the size of their feelings. It has only measured the size of their fear. But fear cannot hide the truth forever. Sooner or later, every heart reaches the moment where keeping the secret becomes harder than speaking it aloud. And when that moment arrives, the words they have carried in silence may finally become the conversation they've imagined for far longer than you know. The message closing this reading is beautifully simple. The greatest secret they have ever kept has always been how deeply they truly feel about you.